channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today guys, I'm going to be starting a series. I'm going to be introducing a new series to you. So I got a request from someone who wants to have nice hair but they don't really know much about hair. So I decided to have like a 4-part series where I'm going to be telling you all about hair. So this is a beginner's guide. This person got this from one of my videos that I posted in 2019 where I was saying that possible reasons why your hair may not be growing. So this is the first episode of the series where I'm going to be talking about high porosity, normal porosity, and low porosity. So guys, please stay tuned to this series, especially if you don't really know much about hair, guys. I am going to be covering a lot through this series, and please guys, share this video if you can, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't really know much about hair, who want to have good hair but they just don't know where to start. So in this series, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about hair. I'm going to be doing a full wash day routine and I'm going to cover it in about 4 or 5 episodes. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about, guys, is that knowing your type of hair does not really matter in trying to manage your hair and trying to find a routine and trying to find the products that work for your hair. Knowing the type of hair that you have, it's a way of knowing your curl pattern. It doesn't really mean anything. And so that's why you need to know what your hair porosity is, so that you take your cue from that. Basically, you take your cue from knowing what your hair type is, knowing if you have low porosity or high porosity or balanced or normal hair porosity, and from that's when you'll know what products to use. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is doing a hair test. So you need to do a hair test in order for you to know what your hair porosity is. So I know that there are 2 tests that I've done, and the first one is to do like a float test. Yes, a float test. Do the hair test. You need to take strands from your head and then you put it in a bowl of water that's at room temperature and you leave it in the water for 10 minutes. And so after 10 minutes, if your hair is at the bottom of that bowl or glass, that means that you have high porosity hair. And if your hair is just in the middle, just floating in the middle, then you have a balanced or normal hair porosity. And then if it's sitting on the top like mine does, then that means that you have low porosity hair. Second test is if you just take a section of your hair and you're holding it and then you just gently, work your way up. Whilst you're holding the hair, and then you just work your way up. If you feel like it's bumpy or it's a bit rough, that means you have high porosity hair, because remember your follicles are like open. So now when you're feeling it, you would feel the follicles. And then if you have low porosity hair, you would feel that it's smooth all the way and you wouldn't feel any roughness whatsoever. Okay. So I'm gonna start with the high porosity. So when you have high porosity hair, before I forget, I just discovered that if you use a shampoo that has sulfates in it, then you're most likely to have high porosity hair. And it makes a lot of sense because I have low porosity hair, and when I use a shampoo that has sulfates in it, my hair just does not go well with that. But I don't know if you want to continue using a shampoo that has sulfates in it. I know I have a friend who uses a shampoo that has sulfates in it and her hair is perfectly fine. She has high porosity hair, and for me, it doesn't work for me, but it works for her. So at the end of the day, guys, this thing is all about knowing what works for you. Having high hair porosity means that your hair cuticles are open. So if they're open, that means that you easily receive products in your hair. But at the same time, your hair gets dry quicker because now your strands are open and you always need to feed that. To retain maximum moisture, you need to use the LCO method or lock method, because now your hair is getting dry quickly, so you have to use any L, any O, any C, liquid, an oil, and a cream. And if you're referring to an LCO or a lock method, the products, that means that you need to use a liquid, which can be a leave-in conditioner. Some people use water and something that's added to it, which is most likely a rice water with carrot, or just rice water on its own. So people use that as a liquid, and as an oil you can use any essential oil. And for cream, you usually use, I'd recommend Sheer Moisture. They have good creams. Also Auntie Jackie's, you can use that as a cream, maybe if it's like a daily moisturizer, or like a butter or a smoothie, or something, then that's gonna work for your hair. Another thing is that when you have high porosity hair, it's usually thicker creams and thicker oils that work for your hair. So your shea butter, you know, shea butter is very chalky, and you know how shea butter is. So if you have high porosity hair, I would recommend that using balms and butters and shea butter and all these very thick creams, and also thick oils, so like Jamaican castor oil, can work for your hair. Unlike if you have low porosity hair, you cannot use, for me that's just how it seemed, that you can't use, and it doesn't work for me anyways, using like a thick cream, using shea butter just as raw as it is, does not work for my hair. I'd always have to dilute it with a lighter oil, but I'm going to get into that when I get into the low porosity hair. If you have high porosity hair, then you need to be doing protein treatments more than deep conditioning treatments. You can even get Auntie Jackie's protein treatments. I don't know if Shea Moisture has, I haven't seen, but I know Auntie Jackie's has protein treatments, and that will help with the moisture. I know some people say that it helps with, because like the cuticles are always open, so it helps with replacing like the moisture in the hair or something like that. Yeah, so definitely recommend protein treatments. Low porosity hair is what I have. So if you have low porosity hair, that means that your cuticles are closed. And when your cuticles are closed, that means that you can't get any product into your hair, and so therefore it's difficult for your hair to receive the product. I would recommend doing a deep treatment more than a protein treatment. So deep treatments like your hot oils or sitting under those hot thingies or like those things can really work for your hair. So when you have low porosity hair, it's also your hair takes quite a while for it to get dry when it's wet. So after you've washed your hair, it takes a while to dry. I was told that if your hair takes long to dry after you've shampooed it or after you've rinsed it or whatever the case is, that means that your hair is good at retaining moisture. In terms of retaining moisture in your hair, an LO or an LC method is preferred, and that is what I usually do. I don't really use the whole lock or the LCO. I don't use all three forms of, you know, applying the product to my hair. I use 2 of the 3, and it works fine for my hair, but for the sake of this series, I'm going to be doing the LCO. And so usually what I do is that I use a liquid, and most of the time I use an oil. So sometimes I would use a rice water and carrot mixture that's been fermented with an oil. So I'd be using the Nzuri's Avo and carrot oil. Another thing is that you can also use an L and a C. So you can use any liquid and any cream. When you have low porosity hair, your hair also tends to have a lot of build up because your cuticles are closed. So you may be applying products to your hair trying to feed it, but your cuticles are just not opening, you know, they're just not accepting. You're trying to just put all these products, and then that's when you have a product buildup. And when you have a product buildup, you attract dirt, and therefore your hair is not gonna grow, and your hair will end up feeling like sticky or like kind of like together, because now you've got all this product in your hair. And that's why you need to clarify your hair. So clarifying your hair is just using a strong shampoo. And so that is why I've been using Nzuri's shampoo that has African black soap in it, because African black soap is a strong soap. So for me that has low porosity hair, this shampoo really works for me, because now that's my form of clarifying, using a hard or a strong shampoo. So in that case, it leaves my hair squeaky clean, and I know that I don't have any product buildup. Another thing is that with people who have low po hair is that when it takes a lot more effort to stretch your hair, but also there's a lot of shrinkage. So for me, it's not an effort for me to stretch my hair. For me, I wouldn't, like after a wash day, I would just be combing my hair, and that's my form of straightening, and then it's fine. So there's not really much effort. But then I know that if I can get a lot of shrinkage as well, like if I can wash my hair will be like this, you know. And the last one that I want to talk about under the low po section is that using heat. So I know a lot of people say it's so bad for you to use heat on your hair and blah 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 and all of that. Yes, I agree with you. It is bad to use too much of heat on your hair. So for instance, with me, I don't like, people always say that using heat is bad and all of that, and it's fine. I understand what they're saying. It causes damage, it breaks your hair, blah blah blah, all those things. But for me, using heat does not really affect my hair. I always make sure that I use a heat protector, but using heat on my hair, it does not cause damage to my hair. But then with this one, the reason why I'm mentioning it last is also because this one is relative. So it may work for a person who has low hair, it may not work. You just need to know what your hair likes and what your hair doesn't. So you should just try it for yourself. If heat doesn't work, if you feel like you're breaking your hair and all of that, then don't use it. And if you feel like your hair is also dry after that, or maybe it's not the texture you wanted it to be, then maybe you shouldn't be using it. But for me, when I use a heat protector and when I use heat, it's fine. But at the same time, guys, I'm not saying you should be blowing out your hair like every day or something. I usually blow out my hair once a month. Yeah, so sometimes when I blow out my hair, it's usually once a month. And you know, because I have 4 wash days in a month, so to speak, and you know, of those 4, the one time then I would blow out my hair just to also just check the growth of my hair. Okay, so now if you have balanced or normal hair porosity, that means that you have a little bit of both. A cream may work for you, using heat may work for you. Your cuticles are closed, but then you don't have a problem with your hair receiving products. So either or. I'm not really sure about how balanced or normal hair porosity works. This may seem like it's a lot, but it really isn't. You just need to do a hair test. From that's when you can now know the products that are suitable for your hair and the products that are unsuitable for your hair. All I can say is that watch out for sulfate shampoos and be careful of the people who you follow and who you look up to. It's better for you to follow someone who has the same hair porosity as you do, because it's most likely that their products are going to work for your hair because you guys have the same porosity. But at the end of the day, you should still check what works for you. But if you follow someone who has a different porosity from you, you can follow their regimen or you can follow their routine, but their products are most likely not to work for you. So guys, at the end of the day, this is a trial and error thing. Knowing what your hair porosity is just narrows it down for you and makes it easier for you. I'm just trying to make your journey easier as well, and so that you can also just grow your hair and have healthy hair. Flaunt it, baby! So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna see you in the next episode. In the next episode, we're gonna be talking about deep conditioners. Please stay tuned to this series, guys. Please share this. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, if there is anything that you want to ask or any recommendations or whatever, please let me know in the comment section, guys. I look forward to your comments and I look forward to hearing what you have to say or any of your experiences. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.